Hey guys, Lacey here again for another video blog about therapy, and this one's specifically entitled to the men. So either you are a man, or maybe you have a partner who identifies as a male, and you think they need therapy, or you want your therapy for yourself, and it's scary, right? If you think about it, typically in our society, identified females are the ones that have the emotions. They're the one that can talk and cry and have all this stuff to process through. So where does that leave men in counseling? An hour to talk about your feelings can seem like hell to a lot of people in our society. Um, so what does it mean? What can you do? Well, let me just share my experiences. I work a lot with a lot of identified males, and a lot of times they're motivated to come in by a significant other in their life. But I have a lot who've noticed kind of the benefit of counseling, and they want to continue that on. So specifically, what I've seen is you come in for a specific goal. A lot of times right now I'm seeing a lot of clients who have sexual behaviors or desires that they're not really accepting of, or they feel like they shouldn't have, or they want to just learn more about it. And that is a thing that is very commonly talked about in counseling and is a safe place to do it. I know sometimes in our society it's not safe to speak about some of these things, or you don't feel like you really want to talk about with some of your loved ones. And that's understandable. I commonly say, especially in relationships, if you're in a relationship, that sex and money are the number one and two, and they're usually competing for which spot that couples come in. And so, not only am I comfortable talking about sex, it's a very common reason why a lot of men come into counseling. The other reason why, too, I've been getting a lot of people who feel like they're disconnected from their emotions. So they're feeling out of their body, or the only emotion they really feel is anger, and that doesn't work so well sometimes, especially if you have some ongoing relationships or at work. Anger as the go-to emotion isn't always effective. And so it's learning about getting connected again to emotions. A lot of people I work with, even though they have a lot of anger, really don't want to be in a lot of conflict. And so they use that anger, or they use shutting down as a way to avoid that conflict that they really just don't know what to do with, and they are kind of scared of. Um, and again, right, that's super hard to talk about with your friends, or your significant other, or online buddies. So the other thing, I think another reason why men, and this isn't always just men, this is men and women, but another reason I've noticed a lot of identified males as um, is parenthood. Either a new baby's in the family, or someone like a baby, or now there are children and it's a couple years out, and that makes a big difference. So parenthood and or losing a job can be really tough, and especially when you're losing a job or in parenthood, time is short and money's short. It's hard to add in counseling. But I will say that most of my clients, I'm going to say all of them, have found that it has been beneficial. If you do take that extra couple of minutes for yourself, it can pay off in the long run to getting more things done, being a better or more effective partner or parent, learning to be even better in your career, which can lead to more money and that sort of thing. So what does counseling do? There is no, I'm going to dispel a lot of rumors. I do not have a fainting couch. So there's no fainting couch. You don't have to kind of sit there and, talk about your early childhood, unless you want to. And what I like to do, especially if it's your first time in counseling, if you're feeling uncomfortable, I want to get some concrete goals down. So what is it you want to work on? What brought you in? How are we going to know when we hit that? And here's what we're going to do to get there. So being concrete. And if some things come up that are maybe involved in early childhood, or maybe with other things in your life, that's okay. But let's get some goals. We'll know where we're going. It doesn't have to be, kind of a scary or super emotional place. And And I think that's a really good role of the therapist. So if you're any counselor you go to, you should know what you're working on, and you should know kind of that path you guys are both going on together. And I think because counseling is not always fun, therapy is not easy. It takes a lot of courage and a lot of strength. And sometimes I'm guilty of this too. Just want to throw in the card or throw in the towels, throw down the cards. And I think goals and knowing where you're working towards can really help motivate that. I know for me, I'm not a sit there and go, kind of a counselor. And so, we can be pretty proactive. So there can be, journal articles or not if you're not a reader. There can be homework. There cannot. It's really up to you. So if you're, let's say, maybe not happy in your job, or your partner's accused you of not being emotional, and you come into counseling, you want to feel more comfortable feeling certain emotions, or you want to understand why people keep saying you're unemotional when you feel like you're engaged. We can look into that. So counseling doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be just about crying and sitting on a fainting couch and saying woe is me. It doesn't have to be forever. A lot of my clients come for, like 6 to 8 sessions, even less. Sometimes people come longer and then take a couple months off and then come back. It's really not a one size fits all, and it shouldn't be. So, think about in your life, what is it that you want to improve? How would you know if it was improved? And find the counselor you feel can help you do that. And it can be me, or if it's not, and that's totally okay, I can help you find one in Portland. There's a lot of clinicians in the area. It can be very overwhelming, and certain kind of methods of therapy, certain people are, better for different situations. So I thought I would clear up a little of the misconfusion. I'd also like to say that there's a lot more men coming to counseling than I think our society perpetuates or advertises. And it doesn't need to be this very scary, very too emotional, long drawn out thing. And I think too, there's no off topic. If you find the right clinician that you feel comfortable with and has the right training, any subject can be very safely and very productively discussed and explored. So yeah, like I said, we're always here. You can email info@linkpdx.org if you have more questions. You'd always call or even do some research on your own. But men or people who love some men in their life, if you're getting kind of encouraged or hinted or been thinking about trying counseling out, I would encourage you to come in. It's 1 hour, not even a full hour, 50 minutes. And if it's not your thing, then you've tried it and you can move on. And just take it step by step. Okay, well, thanks for joining me tonight. I hope that it's been a little helpful. If you have any more questions, feel free to email or call. Great. Have a good day.